Welcome to the Cory Lee Fitness and Leadership Podcast today. Thank you guys for joining us. And on this podcast, we talk about two things. The two things are fitness and leadership. And our whole goal is to help motivate you and encourage you to get moving and to stay moving. And today I'm excited to have my friend Dalton McMillen here with me. Dalton is a CrossFit White Horse athlete, but he's also a young leader. How old are you, Dalton?
24.
24. And at the age of 24, he is already establishing himself as a young leader. A lot of people, even some older than him, look up to him because of the reputation he has and some of the great things that he's done in our community. So I'm proud to have him with us today, and I know we're going to learn something from him because he's a wise man. Right, Dalton? So, Dalton, thanks for being with us, man.
Man, I appreciate it. Appreciate the reach out to be on here for sure.
Yes, sir, man. Well, Dalton, now I know you played some sports in high school, and if it was like mine in high school, you were pretty much forced, or not necessarily forced, but it was basically a requirement to work out. Now that you're no longer playing sports or high school sports, and it's a choice that you have, what is it that kind of drives you to want to be active and healthy and just fit? What is it internally that now that you have the choice, you make the choice to go exercise? What is it that drives you to want to do that?
So the one word that comes to mind with that question is progress.
Okay.
Through high school sports, you always had, this first semester you set your maxes or your fastest time or your highest jump, and you work out the whole off season, and then you remeasure at the end, and coach and yourself really expect to see some progress, whether it's 10 more pounds on the bench or you shave 0.2 seconds off your 40 time. It starts with there, and then that mentality kind of carries through. I started. Probably my first workout would be with my dad in second grade. He would always go lift with the Manatee football team. And I would see them pushing for their progress, pushing for their new max, or whether it be just for 2 extra wins that season. That's their goal. They're striving to get better to reach that. And then I got to football, and I had those things set before me. In ninth grade, I was sitting on a bench and finally got one plate on the bench one time. And my coach says, keep working. You'll turn around and look, and there'll be 2 plates on both sides that you'll be repping. And, so just from the start, I've had that idea of, you got to be progressing, whether it be in workout or life or, whatever it is at work. Yeah. You've got those goals you set and you progress. And once that's kind of programmed in your mind, it sticks with you. That's right. You're not satisfied if you're not setting those goals and reaching those goals.
I like that. That's good. Progress. We're not static, right? We're constantly growing or stepping backwards. So I like that. So you want to continually be moving forward. That's so right. In your health and fitness and all. And I think that's great. And I'm with you on that. That's good. So. Now, one of the things that I like to say is, and I believe too, is that each and every single one of us have unique gifts and talents and abilities that we were blessed with, and we're supposed to use those. God gave those to us to serve other people and to serve Him. So what, at the age of 24, do you feel like you have an understanding of kind of what some of your gifts are? And if so, how do you think as a young leader you can help other people see what their skills are and to develop those skills?
Yeah, so through high school, through college, and now through 2.5 years of work full-time, I've been faced with a lot of pressure situations, I call. And through those, everybody's got 2 options. You can sit back and let it overtake you or let somebody else make the calls, or you can, stand up and, as I say in the South, punch it in the mouth and figure it out. So whether it be through choosing to hand the ball off or run it in football, or whether it be at work, something goes wrong on a job, and you can either try to let somebody else take blame for it, or you can say, no, I did that, this is how we got to fix it. You're doing that to stay on target. Or whether it be in college when I was studying, through those situations, through making the calls, through stepping up, and not by my own power, you know, through all that prayerfully considering, you know, God's He's strengthening me in that, I would say, to where, you know, when those pressure situations come up now, especially in marriage, you know, being the leader of the household, and I know Mike talked a lot about that in his podcast a few weeks back. You know, those situations earlier in life will now prepare me for that. So I feel like, you know, whether it be in group setting or family setting, you know, when an issue or a problem arises, I feel not equipped, but maybe prepared through those situations to, you know, kind of take the reins on that, and especially in a group setting, kind of transition into the second part of that question. In a group, you know, no one person wants to take a big problem on alone, especially in church. I love correlation between Scripture and real life. Yeah. Where Jesus talks about the body, many parts, one purpose. Same thing with, you know, conflict resolution and the problems that come up in life. Each person in that group can handle different parts of the equation, all working towards the one answer. Yeah. And so whether that's in church, work, family, I love seeing people find these gifts that we're talking about, and utilizing those just the way God has intended it. Yeah. That just really gets me excited when people find their little niche that they like serving with and using that. So I guess the short end of that, I love myself taking on the problems, but in that I also love utilizing other people's gifts, you know, kind of pointing them in their direction to help everybody else work together as a team.
That's good. You know, when it basically works like a well-oiled machine when you have more than one person on a team. As a team, you're working together, but each one of you working using your specific gifts. That's right. You know, if you read the book Good to Great, Jim Collins, he talks about, and this is more of a business book, but he talks about when you're hiring and you have people on your team, you're trying to find the right people to get on the bus, but putting those people in the right seat on the bus. Yeah. And that takes you to where you want to go. It kind of shifting gears a little bit here. You're 24, I'm 32, and we are in this millennial generation here, right? And it seems to have this type of bad reputation that, you know, you always hear people say, oh, those millennials or right. Whatever, yeah. You know, and I don't, again, I feel like we're in that category there, that age group, but I don't feel like we're in that category That's right. of the reputation. But where do you think that reputation even came from?
I think, and I took some time to think on this one, it's a generational thing that started back with maybe our parents or even our grandparents. Yeah. So if you look back, you've got the man of the house just goes and works. That's what he does. Come home and wife's got the meal ready, eat, go to bed, and then wake up, do it again. Work, eat, and bed. So our parents, maybe seeing our grandparents, saw work as this high priority, and that's what men do. We work. That's all we do is work. And through these generational shifts, you know, now we've got people like me and you. We love work, but we also love family. And not saying that those guys didn't, just saying we understand that work is important, but it has its place. You know, my theory is on it. It's 24 hours in a day, 8 is in the office or wherever you work, in the field, wherever. So during those 8 hours, you give all you got. But I like my time away. I like my time with my family. Clock strikes 4 if I'm caught up at work. I'm not sticking around. You know, I'm going to hang out with my family or church. And I think through that, people are getting this negative connotation attached to the word millennial because they think of us as maybe, you know, maybe we're scared of work or, you know, we don't want to commit too much of our day to it. That's not really the case, in my opinion. You know, I said a while ago, when I'm at work, my 8 or 9 hours, I'm giving 100% dedicated to work. You know, I'm earning my paycheck. Yeah. But just because I'm ready to leave at 4 or, and it's not just work that we get this negative connotation from. We also get it from this entitlement.
Yeah.
I know that's a word that's
Yeah.
attached to it very well, and which is understandable. There's very many millennials that are attached to this entitlement, but also there's very many 50-year-olds that are in this entitlement mode.
Yeah.
60-year-olds, there's all generations, not just millennials. So that's what's kind of frustrating that we're getting grouped. Like millennials are entitled and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, some of us are, but some of y'all are too. Some of the generation Y or whatever the next one is, there'll be some of those too.
Yeah.
So that's.
I think that's a really good answer. Is that we do work hard. We want to work hard, and but that's not what we want to be all about.
That's right.
Now I'm sure we're being general here, and I'm sure there are some people that more focused on their jobs and all. But
right.
I'm with you. I want to, when I'm at work, be at work, but I also want to have a lifestyle, and the family life and the spiritual life, and to me and you both, fitness is a priority. I want to be able to exercise and work out. I don't want be defined by a job. Right?
That's right.
So I like your answer right there. So sticking with the millennial thing, the people in our age group, the people here we're going to be the leaders in every single field in the coming years, right? The people in our age group are going to be the leaders in business, in religion, in politics, in medicine, and nobody really knows who they are just yet. So what would you say to people? I mean, that's an opportunity right there. What would you say to people in our generation that maybe has the characteristics of that reputation, and they may not see that opportunity? What would you say to them to say, hey, man, let's go, get your act together, you know?
So I think it probably all starts with people let millennial predefine their characteristics or their lifestyle. And, it can happen because it is so negative, so widely used. It's everybody here, it's all the millennials this, the millennial that. But you don't have to be defined by that. God made us all unique. He didn't make our generation to be this weird group of kids that are entitled and don't want to work. He made me to be me, you to be you, and you to be you. So me or yourself don't have to be defined by a term that's given us. You're your own person. That God's made. You're not defined by your family's past, your assumed future. It's something my dad always beat in my head. He always say there's a get-together at a friend's house when I was in elementary school. He's like, well, I'm not sure because the parents won't be there. And I thought, everybody else is going. And he said, that don't matter. Just everybody else doing it doesn't justify me doing it. So the same way, we don't have to follow these steps that people put in front of us as millennials. We can break off that course and be more of who we're called to be. I think that we've got to adapt to that. And there's even some scriptures. I wrote this down because I would never remember them. But 2 Corinthians 10:12, and you guys can go read these. Galatians 1:10 and Galatians 6:4-5. And through reading these, you can gather really three truths. One, Jesus is our standard. Not millennial, not the generation before us, not our dads, not our grandparents. Jesus is our true standard. That's who we're to follow first and foremost. Two, we've got to do what's required of us. I do my task, you do your task. And lastly from that, if you please God, no one else's opinion matters. So realistically, we don't have to please the steps that people put in front of us. We don't have to take that step. We've got to do our task that we're assigned. Reach that and go get it. And as long as we're pleasing God, we're good to go.
That's right, man. I think that's great. One thing I want to say to that is preach, right? Is preach. I was trying to look up a quote here because something you said reminded me of this quote, and I really liked it. Was you talked about it's you don't have to be defined by that. Yeah, you're a millennial. Well, that doesn't mean that you have to fall into that characteristic of that. And then you talked about your dad. So this quote, and one of my favorite books, and it's called The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews, but I'm just going to read it right here. It says, truth is truth. If 1,000 people believe something foolish, it's still foolish. Truth is never dependent upon the consensus of opinion. It is better to be alone and acting upon the truth than it is in my heart to follow a gaggle of silly geeses to mediocrity. So I thought that reminded me of that quote. I thought that was really good. So you are not defined by anything else. You are you. I think that's really good. So, and one last question, kind of sticking with that millennial thing here. So, I think our generation is kind of unique. We've got unique skills, and there's all this technology now that we have at our hands that people in our generation have created, and they'll be creating some more. And I think sometimes they're just misunderstood. What do you think we could do to help some of these old folks or these older generations to help them understand? Because I think sometimes it's just that we are misunderstood as well. So what could you say to the not the old folks, but the little bit older generation
to a little bit older,
understand us a little bit?
Yeah, I think the short answer, just give us a chance. Just as we talked about not being predefined, don't assume we're all bad. Don't assume all technology is bad. I know it's new and it's different, but honestly, and I'll go ahead and group myself back in the millennial, but us millennials enjoy technology, and we see whether it's social media or for girls taking selfies, or that's our communication. So when the grandkids come to Christmas and they're Snapchat the grandma eating and selfie, and it's not a chance for the grandma to say, "Oh, why don't we just sit down and talk?" That's their appreciation. That's their way of connecting with you, and give us a chance, but also invest in us. I think, and I keep going back to church. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but just as the older generation in church has so much wisdom for the younger one, myself included. I think just in life in general, there's a lot to learn from the older generation to the younger kids. So I think that investment's well made, because I'm sure the older generation, at some point in your life, y'all had someone invest in y'all. So now, flip that, and then when we're the older generation, hopefully we'll have something to invest back. Always just keeping that going. Carrying the wisdom down the line.
And I like that. I think that's really good advice there. So kind of wrap it up here with a little rapid fire kind of questions to get to know you a little bit better here. So all right. So you do CrossFit, and what is your favorite exercise or favorite movement whenever you do CrossFit, or maybe not even CrossFit, maybe run or bike or swim or something else? What's your favorite exercise?
So since starting CrossFit, it's got to be a squat clean.
Oh, okay.
It's just real technical, and you got to make sure you're engaging the correct muscles at the correct time and body angles. It's just so intricate. I love studying it, and when you finally get that weight on the bar that you've been shooting for, and you do everything right, and catch it. It's just that accomplished feeling. Now all you got to do is stand up with it. That's quickly becoming my favorite for sure.
That's good. Yeah. A squat clean, that's an Olympic lift where you basically take the barbell with some weight on it from the ground to the shoulders, but you are trying to quickly get under it.
That's right.
And I'm with you on that. But
quickly being the key.
Yeah, quickly. It takes strength and speed to do this, and mobility too. So, one of my favorites is a burpee box jump. So, most people don't like that.
I like to stay away from the box jump.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Maybe a burpee bar jump.
There you go.
So. What about who's someone you talked about a little bit? Older generation reaching down and pouring in and mentoring. Who's somebody that you look up to? Maybe that has poured into you into your life. That's been a mentor to you.
Right. Immediately, and the go-to answer is Dad.
Yeah.
It's just always been since day one. It kept me in the woods. It kept me in church. It kept me in the Word. All the things a great dad does.
Yeah.
I don't want to discount from that, but also I want to thank my papa in that area. My mom's dad. He would always, at Christmas, it wasn't just let's open presents or let's do this. He said, no, we're reading the story. We're going to talk about the story. We're going to pray. And it's calls during the summer. How you doing? Love you. Keeping this presence in my life. Those two men in my life I really look up to, because they show me it's not about being a man. It's not just being hard on people. It's not being this brute guy. You know, you can break down and love someone too.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate those two guys.
Yeah, that's good right there. That's really good. So, all right, your truck's sitting. We're in the building here. Your truck's sitting outside. If I were to get your keys and put it in the ignition and turn the thing on, what kind of music would I be listening to?
There's no telling right now. I've got. Keely was asking me the other day. I think I've got 6.5 days of music.
Oh man!
iTunes, but. To get an answer, it'd probably be Christian hip hop.
Okay.
I love it. It's encouraging. It's great for working out.
Yeah. Any particular artists?
Right now, probably Aha Gazelle or NF.
Okay.
Both of those two are fantastic right now.
Aha Gazelle and NF. If you guys are listening,
Come up.
Dalton just gave you a shout out. You know, I like Lecrae and also So
Minio,
yeah.
List is long.
Yeah, so you guys, we just gave y'all a shout out. The whole world knows you now, all right? So, what's something that you're learning or maybe experiencing or reading right now that's meaning something to you right now?
I think for me right now, Scripture.
Yeah.
I'm trying to read the Bible once every year and then sub-studies off that. But at this point of the year, I'm still in the Old Testament. And it's super cool seeing Christ's story from the beginning all the way up through time and all the specific things that had to happen.
Yeah.
One, it just shows to the accuracy of the Bible, but two, it points to all the thoughtfulness he had and his whole creation story. That's amazing.
Pretty amazing. Yeah, that is good. You know, to see that prophecy and like you said, everything in the Old Testament points to Christ,
That's
and
right.
it's kind of cool to see that. So.
Definitely.
If you could go back in history and meet anybody in history, and you could sit down with them, and you could eat lunch, other than Christ, Jesus, I know that would be an obvious one, but anybody else in world history that you could sit down and you could go to Starbucks with, I guess, who would you? They probably didn't have Starbucks back then. They wouldn't know what I'm talking about. Anyway,
I'm sure they wouldn't.
Who would you sit down with and have a conversation with?
For me, it's a no-brainer. I want to have lunch with the guy that first ate a chicken egg. Because this has got to be the bravest cat that ever walked the earth. Chicken's going around, something falls out of it, and he's just like, let's eat it.
Let's cook that and eat it, yeah. What kind of question would you ask him? What are you thinking?
Why? You know, what was the thought process? Did you crack it open? Did you just eat the whole thing?
Yeah, what did you do with this thing?
Even if you cracked it open, why did you still think it's good to eat?
There you go. That's funny. You know, I've never thought about that. That's good. I like that. What's the furthest you've ever ran?
7 miles.
7 miles.
Yeah.
All right. By choice or by?
Yeah, by choice. I had nothing chasing me.
Okay. All right.
When in college, I would train a lot.
Nice.
For 10Ks. And one run, I miscounted on one of my runs and ended up with some extra. And I was like, well, I never went any further than 6.21 or whatever it is. So I just finished out to 7.
Nice. There you go. So, good. You overachieved right there. A 10K, 6.2 miles, and you know you're fully prepared at 7, right?
That's right.
So, what is your bench press max?
I finally got past the 275 mark last week, so I'm sitting on 285 right
285.
now. Yeah.
Well, let's go back to the squat clean. What's your squat clean max?
It's 245 or 255 was the last I got. So.
We always round up.
That's right. We'll say 255.
What about in 2018? What's something you hope to accomplish? Maybe just one thing you'd like to accomplish this upcoming year.
So I've got like a whole list I've been working on that I want to get specific with.
Yeah. You should come to my goal seminar then.
Okay.
Just
Well, shout out.
Yeah.
Might have to do some publications on that.
There you go. It's next weekend, by the way.
There we go. So just one off the top of my head, I want to get 300 on the squat clean.
Okay.
Since we're talking about that so much. And, I know that should be unrealistic because it's 65 pounds 1 year, but I always like to aim high. If you miss, you still land pretty high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
that's right. That's good. You know, that's good. You need to aim high. It gives you something to shoot for. And one of the things I always say, your goal should kind of make you scared or make your heart beat a little bit.
That's
where
I'm at with it.
Exactly. You don't want to pursue something that you know you can achieve. You want to try to grow and push yourself. That's what a goal is about.
That's right.
Man, Dalton, I appreciate your time, man.
Yeah.
That was great information there. Thank you guys for listening to the Cory Lee Fitness and Leadership Podcast. I hope today has encouraged you and motivated you to get moving and stay moving. And I hope you guys have a great day and God bless. And a Merry Christmas. Christmas is, we recorded this on a Thursday. Christmas is coming up in about 4 days. So Merry Christmas.
Look here for now.
That's right.